everybody, it's Mr. A. I'm so glad to see you guys again, and we're going to talk some more about theater history today. However, I do want to start off by giving you guys a little plug to something that I did a couple of days ago. There's a video that Ms. Holbrook put together about a slideshow to help you guys memorize your monologues. Please don't forget, you do need to do your monologues. Your monologues can be from any TV show, any movie, any play that you like. But it does need to be a monologue of a decent size. I recommend about like 5 or 6 sentences at least. Anybody that needs help getting them, go ahead and send me a Jupiter message. I'd be glad to help you out and get ready. I don't know when you're going to be able to perform them. In fact, somebody sent me a message saying could they make a video of it and send it to me. I think that would be great. But that's going to be difficult for other people, so I don't know how that's going to happen. But get yourselves ready anyway. Even if we don't get to it, it's certainly enriching. You can do your monologues in front of your family and stuff, and I think that'd be a great thing to do. So check that out if you haven't yet, so you can learn how to memorize better. In the meantime, we're going to go on today and talk about theater history, and we're going into medieval Europe. So the first thing to understand about medieval Europe is if you look at the years. The years of medieval Europe, we're looking at about 1100 to 1200 years AD. Now that sounds like a long time ago, and it is. But the important thing to note is how long it is from the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire fell right around 480 AD, so we're looking at about 700 years of time where there really isn't any theater of note happening, or at least not in Europe. There was stuff going on in Japan and in India and other places, but as far as Europe, we don't have a lot of theater happening. I mean, you have wandering beggars and you have mummers' troops and stuff, but that's nothing you can really point to as some great theater. So why is that the case? Well, a lot of it is because of who was running Europe at this time. Europe is basically being run, at least culturally, by the Roman Catholic Church. You have kings and you have queens and stuff like this, but these guys were really subject to the Roman Catholic Church. If the Pope or the priests told the king and queen that they're doing something wrong, the people would tend to follow the church instead. So the Roman Catholic Church did not approve of theater. Why? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One is that I think the Romans set a very bad example of what theater is. Remember how the Roman theater was at the end, where you had people being raped and killed on stage while all the audience was going, yeah! Well, yeah, if I'm a good Catholic priest, I'm going to say, that is not something good Christians do. And so the bad example of the Romans meant that the Roman Catholic Church basically felt like theater was a bad thing. To be fair to the Romans, they probably wouldn't have liked it much anyway, only because it's not a church thing. It appears nowhere in the Bible is there evidence that they were doing theater then, and so they tended to look at this as something that pagans did. In any case, though, for one reason or another, about 700 years isn't any theater. And then somehow, right around 1100 AD or so, it starts to return. And it starts to return being used by the church. You see, the daily mass and liturgies type stuff were difficult for some people to understand because they couldn't read. It's not like we could just hand you a Bible and say, here, read this. So the people wanted to know about the gospel, but they didn't really understand a lot of it. And so the priests kind of realized one way to do that is to have them act it out. And so, very similar, oddly, to how the Greeks did it, they started using theater as a way to teach people about the gospel and say, this is how we need to live. And it wasn't only educational, it was considered to be fun also as an entertaining way to do it, but the main purpose was education. They never would have done this kind of theater if it wasn't that somebody discovered this is a good way to teach people about the gospel. So the main purpose of theater is education, and once again, you'll notice it's religious education. Now, who were the actors? Well, like I said, there were some wandering beggars that were actors that were paid in the sense that you had people throwing coins at them, but most of the actors don't fall under that. Most of the actors were volunteers. If you think about it, for any of you that do go to church and stuff like that, you might have people that perform in front of the church as far as like singing or doing stuff like this, but no one pays them for that. They do that out of the goodness of their heart because they want to try to spread the love of God. And that's kind of how they looked at it. It was kind of a volunteer thing. There's another thing that was going on too. You see, a lot of the great theater of the medieval time period was done during festivals. And what they would do, there'd be some kind of a festival, let's say there was like, the Feast of St. Michael or something like this, and as part of this festival, somebody would say, okay, let's put on some plays about God and stuff like this. And so they had a big festival with a bunch of people, and they would say, okay, let's have you guys put on a play about Noah's Ark. And because you guys are like fishermen, so you know about boats. Do a play about Noah's Ark. You guys are like, you're the carpenters and stuff. You know about wood and about nails. You do a play about Jesus being crucified. You guys over there, you guys are the fruit sellers. You know all about fruit and stuff. You do a play about the Garden of Eden and the apple that they ate. And so forth and so on. The different groups of people would put on a play. And it was actually considered to be like kind of a fun diversion where they would put on these plays. And this is what eventually becomes what are called the mystery plays. Now, when I say mystery plays, it doesn't mean what you think it does. Mysteries weren't about detectives trying to solve mysteries with whodunits and all that. That's not what it means. I wish we could change the name, honestly, because that confuses a lot of people. Back in those days, they considered learning about God to be somewhat of a mystery. You weren't supposed to fully understand it, but trying to learn about God was like trying to plumb into the mystery of godliness. So that's why these plays were called mystery plays. They're plays based on stories from the Bible or the lives of saints. And like I said, they were mostly done by groups of people at a festival. And what would happen is that each guild would dramatize a different scripture story. And then over time, let's say that the Carpenters Guild did a really great play about Jesus being crucified. Well, then the next year they'd do the same one. Or they'd doctor it a little bit to make it a little bit better, but keep the same basic idea. And over time, and let's say that the Soldiers Guild that did the thing about David and Goliath said, oh gosh, our play was not very good. Let's make it better. So over time, you end up having a big cycle of plays that are all pretty good. And then eventually they got written down by someone that knew how to write, and then we have them. And now, who wrote these plays, though? You can't point to one person or even one group of people. It ended up being named after the city where it was created. That's why we have things like the Cambridge Passion Project and the York Mystery Plays and stuff like this. Now, that was one kind of play that was done during that time period. The other kind, or the other major kind that was different for them, is something that we do nothing like anymore. And that's called a morality play. A morality play is a play in which the characters represent moral concepts like sin or love or virtue or something like this. And what that meant is that if you told someone the plot of the story, a plot again is what happens in the story, then you're also telling them the theme, which is the message of the story. Now, we do very little that's like this. The closest I've ever seen in our modern day is the movie Inside Out, if you've ever seen that, where you have characters that are named joy and sadness and fear. You know, they're not like a character named Bob who represents joy. No, the character is named Joy. And morality plays were a lot like that. The easiest way for me to explain that is to give you an example. And the best example is called Everyman. Now, usually when I tell you about a play, I first tell you about the writer. I can't do that with Everyman, and I'll tell you why. We don't know who wrote it. It is one of the mysteries of theater history. No one knows who wrote Everyman. It could have been written by a group of people, but it's very consistent with itself. So a lot of people believe it probably was written by a single writer. Most people believe it was probably written in English or Germanic, like Danish or something like that, because a lot of the jokes seem to work on there, but they're not sure. There are several different places that say we are where Everyman came from, and it's kind of a point of some confusion and contention. So in any case, though, Everyman is a brilliant play, and of all the plays that you're going to see that come out of the Middle Ages, you are most likely to hear about Everyman. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to do it a little bit differently than we did before, but here is the play Everyman. Alright, the main character in Everyman is a guy whose name is Everyman. That's his name. Everyman. You got that? But that's not the first character that we see. The first character we see is this guy with a great big beard sitting in a chair. His name is God. So God looks at the audience and he says, I have given Everyman many great things, but I don't know if he has used them wisely. I must call my servant who will bring Everyman before me to make an account of what he has been given. Hey, servant! And so a servant shows up. That servant's name is Death. Hello, master. What would you like me to do? Yes, Death. I want you to bring Everyman to me. Okay, sir, I will do that. So Death comes over to Everyman and says, Hi-ho, everyman, I am Death. I am here to bring you before God. What? Bring me to God? I am not ready for that. Come back another day. Oh no, when Death comes to see every man cannot tell Death to wait. Every man must come when Death calls. Well, but I'm not ready. Can't I bring another person with me that will help me so I'm not alone? Oh, no one will come with you. Every man must face Death alone. Well, you don't know my friends. I will ask my friends and some of them will come. I don't think they will. You're welcome to try though. So every man goes out to try to find someone that will come with him to go see God. The first person he goes is his friends. His friends are named friends. Actually, fellowship, which was an older name for basically friends. So every man comes to fellowship and he says, "Fellowship, my good friend. Oh, it's good to see you. Now, would you come with me?" "Oh, I would come with you anywhere. Of course, I'm your friend. I will come with you anywhere you want." "Great. I have a guy named Death who's asking me to go see God. Will you come with me?" No, I won't come with you there. I'd go with you anywhere here on earth, but to go see God? No, you go alone." "Well, what kind of friend are you then?" "Well, I don't need you. I have lots of family and lots of cousins. I will ask them to come with me." So every man comes over here to another place where he can find his family and his cousins, who are named Family and Cousins. "Hey, family and cousins, I have got something I need from you." "Well, we'll do everything for you. Anything you want us to do. If you want us to kill for you, or you want us to do anything, we'll do whatever you want us to do." "Great. I need to go with Death to go see God. Will you come with me?" No, we won't come with you for that. You go see God by yourself. Anything you want us to do here will help, but to go see God, no, you go alone." "Well, then what good is it to have family and cousins anyway? What am I spending all my time with all my life?" "Well, I've been spending time with my goods. That's what I need. I need to go get my goods." And so he goes to see another character whose name is Goods. This goods in this doesn't mean like good and evil. It means goods as in stuff. Yeah, stuff. "Okay, Goods. Hey, I spent all my time with you. Why don't you come with me to go see God?" No, you fool. I will never go with you, and I'm glad you're in trouble." What do you mean?" "My whole purpose here in life has been to ruin you." "Ruin me?" "Yes, you focus so much on your goods, you haven't focused on your soul, and now you're in trouble, and I am glad. And when you are gone, I will become the goods for someone else, and ruin them as well." "What a terrible being you are! Oh, is there no one that will come with me?" And he hears a voice, and the voice says, "I would come with you if only I could." Hark, what is that voice? And every man hears a voice, and the voice says, "I am your good deeds. I would come if I can, but I am just too weak. Oh, my good deeds, what can I do to make you strong again? I really don't know, but you can talk to Knowledge. Knowledge knows everything." "Oh, okay." So along comes another character whose name is Knowledge. And every man says, "Knowledge, how can I make my good deeds strong so it can come with me to God?" "I know just what to do. What you need to do is you need to go see that holy man Confession. He will make your good deeds strong." "Well, let's go then." So Knowledge takes every man over to see another character whose name is Confession. And Confession says, "Oh, I know exactly what you need to do. What you need to do is you need to confess all your sins." "Okay, I confess all my sins." "Good for that. And it wouldn't hurt if you also beat yourself up a bit." "Okay, kapow, kapow, kapow. All right, good. Now your good deeds will be good and strong. Go on it." "Okay then." And every man goes back over to his good deeds, which are now back on its feet again. "Oh, I will now come with you. Thank goodness. I will take my good deeds and my knowledge with me to go see God." And Knowledge says, "Oh, we don't even need to go alone." "We don't?" "Yeah, there's some others that will come with you along the way." "Well, who would those be?" "Well, we've got your strength. Hi. And we've got your beauty. Hello there. And we have your discretion. Well, if we are safe, we will do that. And we have your 5 wits. Oh, yes, I will be here." And every man says, "Wonderful, I have a merry troop of people to come with me." And so they go on their journey going towards God. And along the way, one by one, people start dropping off. And Strength says, "Oh, I can't come anymore. I've got to go home." "Oh, my strength has left me." And then Beauty says, I cannot talk about going down into deadly places with graves. I am far too beautiful for that. I'm going home now." "Oh, my beauty has left me also." and I also will forsake you because it would not be wise. And so he leaves also, and his 5 wits finally says, yes, I also cannot come, and he leaves. Oh no, all of my people, my strength and my discretion and my 5 wits have forsaken me. Knowledge, will you forsake me also? Yes, because I have no knowledge of what will be after death, but I will take you all the way up to the edge of it. And what about you, good deeds? I will go with you the whole way. Because you have strengthened me through confession, I will come with you. And so the 3 of them continue on until they come to this place where every man needs to go into this grave in order to go along. And Knowledge stays there and says, I will watch you go. And every man and good deeds continue along the way off the stage. And that's the end of the play. So let's see if we can pull apart the plot and the theme. Again, the plot is what has happened, and the theme is what the message is. So the plot of this story is that God sends death to every man, and every man doesn't want to go alone with death, and so the only one that will come with him is good deeds, but only if he first goes to confession in order to make his good deeds strong. That's the plot. And what's the message? Well, the message is that God sends death to every man. And when death comes for every man, for every one of us, your friends, your family, they will not come with you. The only thing that will come with you is your good deeds, but only if you first go to confession to make them strong enough to withstand your sins. That is good Catholic Christian doctrine. And that's kind of what it was. It was a really poetic way to tell a religious message. It's a beautiful play, if you don't mind when you're walking into it, the idea that you are going to be preached at. But that's how morality plays worked. Is that if you tell somebody the plot of the story, you're also telling them, here is the message. It's kind of similar to, like I said, to Inside Out. The message of Inside Out is that joy cannot exist without sadness. And in that movie, the character Joy discovers that she needs sadness in order to exist. It's a message that is also the plot. Okay, so Every Man is most likely the best known play of the Middle Ages. But there is one playwright I want you to know about, and her name is Hroswitha. It's hard to say. Hroswitha. I'm probably saying it wrong, in fact. She was a German nun who wrote plays for the church. And she is important, but not really because of any play that she wrote. If you feel like you want to keep a play in mind to try to tie her with her, I would suggest the play Abraham, which is a play that she wrote based on the Bible character Abraham. But that's not really important. The reason she's important isn't because of anything she wrote, but because of the fact that she wrote. You see, Hroswitha is the first female playwright that we have any record of. All of the Greeks, all of the Romans were men. Now, it could be that some of these plays were written by women, but they just kind of attributed them to men. We don't know that, of course. But the only one that we know of, the earliest one that we know of, that definitely was female and put her name on a play was Hroswitha. So I want you to know that name for that reason. And if you look down in the description down below, you're going to find some more information on Hroswitha. There's also some wonderful stuff on Every Man. I found a really cool Lego version of Every Man that I think you guys are going to love. Go ahead and check that out. And I'm also going to go ahead and put any other links in there that you guys are going to need to know in order to do this. We're going to get back together again a little bit later on in the week or early next week and talk about the Renaissance. Renaissance is where things get really interesting, and we're going to get really into the character Shakespeare, which will take us several days to talk about. The last thing I want to say is that there are a couple of people that have told me that they're having trouble doing some of their makeup work over the Jupiter system. So I went ahead and printed out some of them in physical copies. Those are at the school right now at Link Classical. I know you can't go there at all times, but certain times you can go and pick up some actual physical papers. For those of you that need to do that, I recommend that you go and get those there. I'm going to be adding to that as I can if we get a little bit closer. There is actually also in there a crossword puzzle having to do with theater history. We've got most of that stuff figured out at this point. I think you can get most of the answers by looking at these videos and at some of the stuff that we talked about. If there's anything we haven't got in there yet, you'll get it in the next couple of videos anyway. In the meantime though, stay safe, stay healthy, and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon.